Peace everyone, Unmask here, and welcome to another episode of Chibi This. Alright, so today I'm going to be drawing Mugen from Samurai Champloo. This is one of my favorite animes, so I'm excited to start drawing this. But before I do that, let me go over a few of the supplies that I'll be using in this video. So the first thing that I'll be using is my mechanical pencil. Nothing special. You can use pretty much any mechanical pencil, though I do use 2B lead. I'm going to be using a few of the Mangaka Pens, like this, a couple different sizes, along with a Sakura Jelly Roll pen for any white highlights I might add later on. And then I'm going to be using Tria Markers, which is the markers I use in most of my drawing videos. But I also wanted to share some of the older chibis that I've done in the past. So this first one here is obviously me. This was the first chibi video that I did. The next one is Lockery Fine Art, Lisa. A lot of you that watch my videos know her, so this was one that I did of her. Here's one of Negan from The Walking Dead that I did. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, so I liked the new season, so I did that character. Here's another character, Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell, one of my all-time favorite animes. This one is Newt from Fantastic Beasts, the new Harry Potter movie. Of course, Spider-Man here that I did just a couple weeks ago. And then Goku, one I did a couple weeks ago as well. I went with really stylized on this one, but I had a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, last week, the live stream, I did Sailor Moon. So let's go ahead and get started with this drawing now. I'm going to do this one a bit stylized as well, similar to the Goku one, so it's going to be kind of unique in that way. Yeah, so you'll see how it is as I progress here. But basically, I'm going to be doing Mugen eating. If you've ever watched the anime, then you know he's a big eater. So I'm going to be kind of doing that. I have a couple reference photos for his face, but that's basically what I'll be doing here with him, is making him kind of eating. Nice and fat Mugen, face full of food. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yesterday I did a live stream of the weekly tutorial. And just a quick update for those that support me on Patreon. Make sure that you go to my Patreon page and update your pledge. I'm making quite a few changes over there, so I just want everybody to make sure they update it so that you're getting the reward that you want. I am changing the rewards quite a bit on there, so. But I think I added some details to the description of the rewards to make it a bit more obvious as to what you are getting. But I'm hoping through the transition time that I don't lose too many of my patrons. Anyways, I think I'm going to have him kind of like holding a bowl, kind of like in this area. I think I might just make it a huge bowl right on his lap here. Kind of have his hand coming over this, and then at the bowl here, and then a couple chopsticks coming out like this. Pardon my camera shutting off. Hello, Alex. Good to see you in the live stream again. You're always in the live streams. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna do that, and let's give him some of his signature face features. He's always like wrinkling his eyebrows and always looking angry. Let's add those. He kind of has like the squinty eyes. Always mean mugging. Kind of being loose with the sketch right now, but we'll get better. No. So in the comments in the chat, somebody asked, my sister actually asked if my camera can shut off, if I can turn that feature off that keeps it from turning itself off, and the answer to that is no, I cannot. It does it automatically, and there is no way to shut it off. I've read multiple forums. I have to get a new camera. I have to get a camcorder. Actually, it's a feature to most, well, not most, but it's a feature to my DSLR, and I can't shut it off. It's frustrating, but fortunately, it only takes a moment for me to fix it. As far as turning it back on, just gotta push the button. Mugen kind of has like a pointy chin, so I'm going to kind of add that a little bit. Just going to give him a bit sharper chin. Just to make it look a bit more like him. Just like this. Now I'm going to start adding some of his hair. So he has pretty crazy hair. I'm just going to kind of sketch it in a bit, but it kind of comes down like this, and it's not really afro-y, but it's similar to kind of straight hair, but afro-ish, I guess you could say. Very unkept. The sketch is actually going faster than I thought it was going to. And he does have little earrings, actually, I can see. I'm not going to add those, though. It's a bit too much detail for this small of a drawing. Oh, crazy. Wacky. I wasn't sure what I was going to draw for this Chibi episode, and it just kind of came to me last night to draw Mugen. I asked for a few suggestions in yesterday's live stream, but I hadn't got anything. It was kind of at the end, so I threw everybody off. But next week, next Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a live stream acrylic painting tutorial, and I'm going to do kind of a landscape, like a fantasy landscape kind of thing. So be sure to check that out. It will be next Wednesday, about 14 or 1500 Central European time. Not 100% set on the time, but I want it to be a little bit later in my afternoon so that those in the US can tune in and watch it. Trying to figure out when the best time for my live streams are. I'm doing this one a little bit later than I did last week, so I'm hoping that makes a little bit of a difference as far as how many people join in on the chat and things like that. Mugen, he kind of has this shirt that has a V in it like this that goes down, and then he has this red kind of cloaky shirt goes down. There's not going to be too much of his clothing that's really even visible, but the colors will be correct. And then he's wearing shorts, which these are his knees. Mugen has really skinny limbs. Actually, that's kind of the style of Samurai Champloo, so I'm going to try to emphasize that skinniness a little bit. But Chibis don't really have defining limbs, like as far as feet and hands. And he kind of has he has those old school Japanese sandals. I forget the name of them. I should really know the name of those sandals, but I can't remember them right off the top of my head. I'm not sure. There, I think that works a little bit better in terms of the style of Samurai Champloo. I'm going to add a little bit more to this bowl just to make it a bit more clear. I think that his legs are a bit, I don't know, I don't like the feet area here, and the angle is a bit off. I kind of like a shallower angle, so I'm going to move them kind of this way a bit more. That. Change the angle of the shoes as well, just a bit, and that leg kind of like there. I think that's much better. I have the shoe there. Yeah, I'm surprised you missed the rose, Christine. I was streaming for quite a while yesterday, and I drew a rose, and it's going to be the weekly tutorial that will happen every week. However, for the next 2 weeks, it will be a special where it will be on YouTube for everybody, and then it will go to just my Patreons. My patrons. I keep calling them my Patreons, which is incorrect. There we go. I think that's pretty good. His sleeves kind of flow out a bit, so I'll have some red there. And then add a couple wrinkles, just a couple wrinkles here to imply that wearing something. I'll have his shorts come down a bit. His shorts are real loose, so kind of draw that there. And I think that's good. I do want to add, like, I'm going to add a couple bowls over here. So kind of lopsided bowls here, and then maybe a few plates. Like a plate like this. Nothing too crazy. Maybe I'll have a noodle coming out. That. And then plate here. A bowl. And another bowl, and another bowl, and another, and another, and another. Kind of lay those in there a little bit. Add some details to the bowl, and maybe another plate kind of laying on top of that one. that. I think that's good, and I'll add the background a little bit here. I'll be the horizon line. I'm not sure what I'll probably won't do much with the background because he's taking up most of the room of the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and start inking him now. Let me do the main details. I'm going to do his hair first with a larger pen and just kind of get that in. And then I'll start coloring it after I erase the graphite. Yes, Alex, you're correct. The streams, so anything that you see me stream will automatically be archived on YouTube, and you can go back and you can watch all of it. The best part is you can skip the boring parts. But I will be also streaming again on Monday. That will be my longer stream, my drawing journal stream. So I'll probably start streaming around 9 a.m. my time, and I'll get done whenever I get done. The first stream I streamed for about 5 hours or so. And then the next stream I did 3 hours. So who knows? Depends on how well I'm feeling, and I'll stream as long as I can, really. Now I'm switching to a smaller pen. I'm gonna do some of his face, his eyebrows. I'm going to draw some of the details here, his hand especially. Some of those things I just need to make sure I get correct or trying to ink any of the other bits and pieces that are here. Sometimes it's easier to draw small, but at the same time, sometimes it's a bit difficult because you have such limited room for error. You kind of have to make the right lines the right time, the first try, especially when you're inking. I think it looks pretty close to him, though. Oh yes, hey, Coffee Cat. Good to see you in the stream again. Yeah, I'll be sure to eat something for the before I go on do my live stream on Monday. Yeah, those long streams, they're pretty crazy. But I'll be sure to eat something. I ate something before this stream, so I'm good. I'm good to draw this. Though these chibis don't take nearly as long as other things do. I mean, for the live stream, because I chat with you guys a bit and answer questions, and I'm talking, I take a bit longer than when I'm just sitting there drawing this by myself. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna try to draw this sandal. Lots of tiny detail here. There. Yes, I have water today too. See? What does the term stylized mean? Um, I I don't know. Make it up. I I assume that you're referring to. Um, I assume you're referring to what I meant when I drew when I when I drew this chibi and what I'm doing here. Um, like, let's see here. So here's a good example. Here's a contrast. Okay, so I have this version and this version. This chibi literally is just transforming the proportions of the original design of this character. Whereas this design is not only chibi in regards to the proportions, but it's also very different than the style that is original Dragon Ball Z, which I hope is obvious to most. But like for instance, the eyes here, whereas her eyes are exactly the way her eyes are on the original character, it's just morphed into different proportions. And it's similar here. I mean, the proportions are very, distorted on this, and I'm kind of just going free range as far as the way that I'm designing the look of this particular drawing. And that's what I guess that's what I meant by stylized, more stylized than what the original looks like. Hopefully that answers your question in regards to stylization. I'm going to add a little bit of detail to this bowl. Now I'm going to try to draw nice ellipses for these plates here. And for this plate here, there. I'm going to actually start here by drawing this noodle, just so that I get it in there good. And this bowl here. And then this bowl is a little bit different, and I'm going to add just a bit of three-dimensionalness to it. And then of course I have this pile of dishes over here, and this bowl. I always enjoy drawing these chibis. Like it's so different than like the realism and things that I do a lot of, and it's a great way to just relax and draw something fun and goofy. I just make all this stuff up. I mean, obviously I have a character reference for this person, but in regards to making him just sit here eating It's just something I came up with. Now I'm going to erase some of my lines. And similar to yesterday's tutorial stream, I like to use a kneaded eraser to just kind of roll it along. This also helps when you're inking because it's not going to smear the ink, whereas rubbing the paper is more likely to smear the ink. Because if you think about it, rolling it is a lot like doing this really quickly, dabbing it. I am going to start rubbing it. I'm still kind of in the mode that I was yesterday. When doing the tutorial, I'm kind of narrating everything that I'm doing for no reason because you can clearly see what I'm doing. If you haven't seen the full series of this anime, you definitely got to check it out. It's so fun. In fact, now that I'm talking about it and drawing it, I think I am going to watch it again. I haven't watched it in a long time, and it's one of my favorites. I've probably watched it all the way through like 3 or 4 times, which I guess doesn't really seem like a lot in comparison to what other people may have watched it. And now I'm going to add a thicker outline. Actually, I'm going to do it with, no, actually I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to start coloring. So he has really dark hair, but he has these kind of highlight marks that are just kind of zigzags like this. Like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go around that with the darker color. I wasn't going to use black, but I decided I am going to use black. So I'm just going to use my black marker and kind of go around this area here. I was watching a live stream this morning because I was drawing something else. The video for what I was drawing will be on Tuesday. So prepare yourselves for that. It's a collaboration with Claire from Black Summer Coloring. It's another Coffee with Friends collaboration to give you a slight idea of what the project is. But I finished drawing it this morning. I woke up actually a bit earlier today. I woke up at 6:30 today. I usually get up around 7 because that's when my fiance is leaving for work, and not so much of a bum that I can't get up and give her a hug and a kiss out the door. My dry humor kills you, huh? I don't know if it is dry humor. I think it's just me and my dry voice. You're one of the few people in the world that ever told me I'm funny. Very few people think that I'm funny. Anna thinks I'm funny. That's probably why I'm marrying her. Gotta keep those people around. Coloring is probably my favorite part, which is why I do these chibis. I think that's the real reason that I do the chibis, is because I love to color. And it gives me something to just have fun with in color. I can't really buy these markers that I have again. The ones that I have are completely discontinued, and it's like a different brand now. And you can get them, but they're an updated version, and I don't think they're as good. I don't know, I've never tried them, but these have kind of a toxic ink, environmentally toxic, and it has really good quality. Like the ink is in these alcohol-based markers are the highest quality ink that you can get in markers. They don't even, Copic markers doesn't even have the ink comparable to the ink that are in these markers. And unfortunately, you can't get these anymore. And I'm pretty sure that the Tria markers that you can buy off the website have a different ink. Pretty sure they have a different ink now, but if not, then great, but I'm pretty sure they do. But I love coloring these chibis. Just too much fun. Let's see, what else is going on? I'm trying to think of what other plans I got. I am going to be doing a lot of tutorials in the month of February. I'm going to start doing tutorials on coloring hair that I've had planned for a couple months now, but just now kind of getting to it. I have a lot of work that I still got to do this week. Struggling to catch up, but I'm getting close. I'm getting pretty close to catching up. I have a few videos that I got to edit. And a lot of happenings the next couple weeks for sure. Not just for my channel, but also for my life. And also, I'm be going to London in a couple weeks as well. So, no live streams while I'm there. But it will be on the weekend mostly. So I think I'm coming back Monday morning. There we go. Let's do his eyebrows real quick. The one thing I love about the Tria markers is this extra fine tip. Can't believe these markers were discontinued. And I can't believe Copic hasn't made something like this. At least I haven't seen any Copic markers with a super fine tip like this. And it's totally genius. Totally genius, and I haven't seen any other markers with it. Let's see, is there anything else that's black? I don't think so. Alright, so now, let's see, what color do I need? I kind of need a cool gray color, almost a blue. So I'm going to use this color here. I'm going to color this shirt, kind of this bluish color. It's kind of a gray, a light gray color, almost bluish though. And what else? Actually, I'm going to use the same color for the dishes. So a lot of the dishes are kind of white. So I'm going to use this as the shadow color. Just here, kind of there a bit. Just to add a bit of shadow to some of the dishes. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to making the tutorials. I've been dying to make the tutorials for some time now, and I just haven't gotten to it. 702. Now I'm gonna color his shirt a bit. Actually, I see that I missed a line. There needs to be a line here. Just like that. I'm going to color his red shirt. This is more the highlighted color, so it's going to look a little pink. And then I'll go through with a darker red, kind of maroon color. And then over here. Let's see the 492. Let's see. Yeah, it's almost a brown color actually. But I'm going to create a cast shadow from his head here, a couple wrinkles there. Like that. It's so quick and easy to color these things because it's so small. His shorts are a cool gray color, and they're quite dark, so I think I'm going to go about here. Color in his shorts. There we go. Now I'm going to shade it with just a darker cool gray. I was thinking about adding a little bit of blue into it, but I think I'll just keep it cool gray like this. There we go. Add a bit more here and over here. There we go. That's pretty much it for him. His shoes are kind of a sandy color, so I think I might just try this color here. Kind of a wood color. There we go. I forgot to shade that first bowl. So let me grab that color real quick again. I gotta shade this bowl here too. And the inside like that. There we go. What else? I'm gonna add a bit of food to his bowl. Let's see, what color should I use here? Kind of a saucy red. Looking for a saucy red. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm actually looking at my color chart that I have over here. Let's just add a little bit of this red here. So there's going to be just some sauce coming down on the plate. Coming over like that. Over here. That. And maybe dripping down. Let's see. And I gotta color that noodle. So let's make the noodle this color here. If I can get the cap off. Okay, that doesn't really show up too much, but that's the color I want. And no, I won't do that yet. I want to color the skin before adding food on his face. I think that's good for that. Let's do his skin color. He kind of has a sandy skin color, so I might do a base color of kind of this off gray. It has kind of a pinkish tone to it, but he has pretty dark skin. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna start with a base color of kind of this light sandy color. It's a bit brownish. it looks a bit washed out. So I gotta make sure that I add a few colors to the skin in order to make it skin-like. A bit of orangish. Need a little orange color in it. Here we go. The other reason that I enjoy working small with these is when I'm coloring and working small, it's so much easier to get like a even coat of the color. When you work larger, I feel like the markers, no matter how many layers you put on, they always kind of look splotchy and disappointing. They don't ever go on even. That partially is that's going to be the paper that you're working on. I'm working on Strathmore Bristol smooth paper, which is my second favorite paper to work on when using inks and markers. My first favorite is the Bristol plate, Strathmore Bristol plate. That's the best paper for markers in my opinion. Go. All right, now I need to find kind of an orangey color to give him some color. 4th, 7th. I think this will be the color. Yeah, that's good there. That's kind of fleshy. It's not too saturated because the base color, and it's still kind of a darkish, like a darkish skin tone. So it's good there. A little trick with markers. So if you use markers and you don't quite have the skin tone that you want, what you can do is you can take a marker that's a bit more saturated than what you want and do kind of an undercolor of a grayish, kind of a gray undercoat. And then when you do the layer with the more saturated marker, the gray will desaturate that color quite a bit. That's a great way to do skin tone with markers. Go. Let's see. I need a shadow color now. His shadows are kind of greenish, so I think I might try this 466. This might not be dark enough, so I might actually have to do, yeah, this isn't dark enough. I'm going to have to do another color over top of this, but this will be a good way to draw in the shadows. Starting off, this is a good base color. It's a bit green, which might sound kind of odd for the shadows, but it works well. Big puffy cheeks because he's eaten and big and fat. Shadows on his legs down here. There's not too much left for of him to color. I kind of like that shadow, but underneath his neck it needs to be just a tad darker, so I'm going to add this 479. Yeah, that's much better. And then maybe here under his eyes, just to get a bit more contrast there. And maybe a bit on his legs too. It's a good shadow color, perfect skin tone shadow color. And then the shadows from his hairs. There we go. let's see. Actually, I'm gonna color his chopsticks just with a dark warm gray. Have you ever gotten really bad art advice? That's an interesting question. Really bad art advice. Let's see. You know, there's a lot of really bad art advice. And it's not necessarily that I got it directly, like somebody came up to me specifically and gave me advice, but I come across bad art advice all the time, especially on YouTube, because nobody has to be a professional to upload videos and tell people what they think they should do as far as, to be good at art. And I've come across some pretty bad art advice. I'm trying to think of something specific right off the top of my head. I guess it's just one of those moments where there's so much in the past that I've gotten bad advice that I can't even think of one. This is gonna bug me. I don't really want to. Even if I do think of one, I don't even really want to say it because it's bad art advice, and I don't want you to think it's good. Okay, here's a good one. Tracing. So bad art advice is to not trace, which I completely disagree with. I don't think there's a single thing wrong with tracing. Sorry, I'm trying to find a color that I like. So artists that say not to trace, I think they're wrong for saying that, because there are skills that you will develop faster if you can just get right to the coloring process. And not to mention, a lot of professionals trace because art takes a lot of time. And if we're commissioned to do things, then, we got to save time where we can find to save time. Every well-known professional artist from all the way back in the day found ways to save time, and they used every bit of technology that they had at their disposal to save that time, and that included artists. I'm trying to think of the artist's name. I can't think of his name. Norman Rockwell. He not only did he trace, but when he did create an image, he wouldn't even put it on his canvas himself. He actually had the capability of printing his image right onto the canvas. So he didn't even draw it. He didn't trace it. He didn't even draw it. He just printed it on there. And there's absolutely zero things wrong with that. And from my perspective, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So that's a bit of bad art advice that I've come across, is the anti-tracers, the tracing is cheating artists. Yeah. If tracing made you a good artist, then there'd be a lot more of them. But the thing that tracing will never do is make you creative. It will never make you creative. So, and that shows up in people's work. And a little bit of an art tangent there. Let's see. I need kind of a nice orange color for the top. Sure thing. I can't really think of any other bad advice off the top of my head, but I can assure you I'm still thinking. I might come up with another one because there's plenty out there. The advice that I usually give um, is just personal experience, but I always add the caveat that that it's just the way that I do things, and it doesn't necessarily make it right or make it the best. When I think that the way that I do art is probably a lot different than the way most people do because of the degree of planning that I add into my work. And that doesn't just include like reference photos. Oh, hello, Chrissy. It must be getting kind of late there in Australia, right? But wait, no, it's still kind of early, so it's not too bad. 3, 4. Okay, let's see. I'm pretty much finishing this piece. I'm trying to find a nice ground color. Let's see. I want something with a bit of color in it. I'm just going to do the 466 and kind of go from there and just kind of do a few layers or whatnot. I kind of love this piece right now. It makes me laugh when I look at it. When I stop coloring for a second and look at it. I went with kind of a sunset looking background. Um, I don't know, I think I might add one more little detail there in the background. You'll see in a moment. I wanted to try to get the colors that show up in the show. I wish I had more markers. I could always use more colors. I have 144 markers and it's still not enough. Well, I'm glad that you stayed up a little bit and stopped by to check out the live stream. I appreciate the dedication. There we go. And I'm going to keep that color handy. I'm going to add just a bit of ground detail, kind of just squiggly lines and dots. There. Let's see. I'm going to use kind of a I'm going to use a cool gray to start working in the shadow, the drop shadow of him, of Mugen here, and just kind of work that in a bit. I want to keep it nice and horizontal because it's kind of cast shadow straight down. Kind of like that. But I need to add some blue to it. So I need a subtle kind of a subtle blue. 549. This is a nice shadow blue. The markers streaking on the paper? No, these markers do not streak. That's why I love these markers so much. But if you're getting streaking with your markers, it's mostly the paper and also your layering process. So if you, I assume that you work with markers. If that assumption is correct, let me know. But if you're getting streaking, so there's a few things you can do. The first thing is you can get better paper. I'm using Strathmore Bristol Smooth, which is a great paper, but if you want the best paper, in my opinion, it's the Strathmore Bristol Plate Surface. That's my personal favorite. But there's a few things that cause streaking. The first thing is that the paper, which I keep saying, and I'll move on, I promise. And I can't think right now. Is your layering process. So if you take a really dark marker and you blend over top of it with a marker that is not comparable in value. So if I were to take like this black marker, where I laid down black with the marker, and I was to take like, I don't know, gray number 3 or something like that, and start like blending something in, you're going to start pulling some of the pigment from the black, and it will start to get streaky from where you press on it. So that's the other problem that happens with the streakiness, is it's really just the layering. So if you're careful with your layering, you won't get streaking. You have to use those middle values if you're blending. So if you're blending from like black to gray, you have to use those in-between markers, even though it seems a bit redundant and it doesn't seem to do a lot. You still have to use them, because otherwise you will get streaking. Oh, okay, so I just thought of something regarding the bad art advice. So, like last year or sometime last year, I made a video doing a review of markers. Not these markers, but they were fine color markers. My sister Christine knows what I'm talking about because I gave them to her. But I made a review of the markers because they were just absolutely terrible. Just the worst markers I'd ever used in my life. They were cheap, so I didn't waste a whole lot of money on them. But I did a review of them, and a lot of people liked my review, but a lot of people didn't like my review, and it was mainly the people that used the markers. And they swore up and down that the markers were fine, and they suggested that people still buy them. So that was bad art advice. They were alcohol-based markers, supposedly, and they don't blend. And people swore up and down that they looked great and that they blended and all this nonsense. And yeah, they were garbage. And that video still gets a ton of views every month because people go there and complain and downvote the video because I tore those markers apart. And some fanboys didn't like it. But yeah, so there's some bad art advice that I have firsthand. People commenting on an old video about markers that are garbage. All right, there, I just outlined him, and I'm going to, let me see if I can find the, Can I draw Roman, Atwood, Brittany, Noah? Is that one long name? I don't know who that is. I'm assuming it's Roman and then Atwood and then Brittany and then Noah and then Kane. Is that like five people? I don't I don't know. Um, I have no idea who those people are. But doing a five-person portrait, that would take a ton of time. There we go. That is going to be it for this Chibi this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I had fun chatting with you and drawing Mugen. Um, he's definitely a character, but it was a lot of fun, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Peace.